Right then, so we are fast approaching the beginning of a whole new year, 2023. What's it going to be like? Who knows? I mean, who could have predicted the events of this year or even the preceding years? And let's be absolutely honest. But anyway, we always like to get our crystal balls out, don't we, so to speak, and make a few predictions about the year ahead, don't we? So here are my predictions. Now, some of these predictions you'll like, some of them you maybe won't like, and some of them you may find surprising. And especially when it comes to things like optional extras. What am I talking about? Well, I'll reveal everything after this.
Brown car guy. A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Right then, first up, let's talk about the car market. Of course, the big issue in the car market has been the lack of supply. And the lack of supply obviously has stemmed from the fact that we ran out of chips, computer chips that is, post-pandemic. We were expecting, or the industry was expecting and claiming, that supply would return to normal in 2022. But then, of course, Russia decided to go and invade Ukraine. And that compounded things by not only making the chip situation worse, but also other materials as well, such as, you know, steels and aluminiums and things like that. So is it going to get any better? Well, the best prediction at the moment is that by the second half of this year, of 2023 that is, sorry, things might start to return back to normal. But in the short term, the supply issue is going to remain. It is still going to be a problem. That, of course, has also had an impact on the used car market. And with the used car market, we've seen prices actually rising. You know, for the first time ever, your old car, not being a classic or anything like that, has actually gone up in value because, you know, there's been a lack of supply. So what's going to happen next year? Used car prices, I think, are going to stay strong. They're going to stay pretty strong for most of the year, with the exception of really old cars. So we're talking of cars going up to about 10 years or 10 years and over. So say 7 years plus. And the reason for that is because people want the latest stuff. They want the latest technology. And newer cars up to about 5 years old, still feel pretty new. They feel pretty, you know, they have all the tech and everything, you know, Bluetooth and what have you, that we are now sort of given to expect in a car. So the older cars, I think, are going to suffer a bit more. Now, one segment that will continue to rocket, that has actually rocketed a lot this year, particularly, that is 2022, is the EV segment. And I think that's going to continue to grow rapidly for two reasons. A, because of customer demand. People are really switching, so to speak, switching on to electric cars. But also the supply, because more and more manufacturers are churning out newer and better electric cars. So there's more and more cars entering into that market arena. So we're going to see a lot more electric cars. We are maybe going to see the first electric car to go on sale for less than £25,000. Now you may be thinking, hang on, but we've already got a car at £26,000, which was something of a record breaker for MG with the MG4 EV. But that was an exception. And I think that actually, given the normal market conditions, I would have hazarded or dared to suggest that maybe we would see cars dropping under 20, but car prices in general are rocketing upwards like crazy. So if we have electric cars on sale at just under £25,000 in 2023, I will not be surprised, but I will be surprised if they go any lower than that. And continuing with electric cars, I think also the technology is going to improve, because this is the other thing that we've seen, is the sort of rapid development in that market. You know, as soon as a new electric car comes out, it's almost obsolete, you know, because next week or the week after or the month after or whatever, somebody's produced a car with a better range, more efficiency, more power, you know, cheaper price, all of that. So, and that's good. That trend is going to continue, because this is still new technology and it's being evolved and developed very quickly. And we are quite possibly, in fact, I think we already have 500-mile range cars from the likes of people like Tesla, but I think that that is going to start to become more commonplace. And when we do have 500-mile claimed range electric cars, then what that means is real world range. You're talking about 350 to 400 miles. I think at that point, any notion of range anxiety is going to start to dissipate. Technology, as I've said, is going to continue to infest our cars, so to speak. The smartphoneization as somebody put it, of the car will continue. And this is what we want. We want connectivity. We want to jump in our cars, and we want our cars to be like an extension of our phone now. This is kind of what is expected. So we want the Bluetooth, we want the connectivity, we want our songs, we want our WhatsApps, we want all of that stuff to happen. And that's going to continue to happen. The connectivity is still going to happen. There's more and more of it coming. We're going to have, you know, in the vein of things like, you know, I won't say it because my phone will respond, but hello whatever, hello Google or whatever, right? We're going to get more and more of that. So we're going to see more and more of that in our cars. So you will be, and in fact I've seen it already in 1 or 2 cars, where you can literally talk to the car, and it will get to the point where you will have these huge screens on these cars with lots of touch buttons and everything, but we're getting to the point where you won't necessarily have to touch anything, because you can just talk to the car and tell it what you want. Further to that, the other thing that is going to happen, and that is already happening, is an even greater evolution of driver monitoring systems. So these are the cameras and the sensors in the car that are watching you, observing you. So they're looking at not only tiredness, but now they're extending that to looking at, you know, are you paying attention? Are you doing what should be done? You know, all of this sort of stuff. So alertness, tiredness, and of course there was talk of this year introducing a system in cars to not allow you to drive off if you were inebriated, so to speak. And that, I don't think that actually happened, but that might happen. So yeah, be ready for that as well. But anyway, you shouldn't be drinking and driving, full stop. Now, the technology that we won't get in 2023, and I don't think we will get for at least 10 years, is the fully autonomous car. And by fully autonomous car, I literally mean like Knight Rider. Like you can go, hey kid, come and pick me up, and the car will pick me up, and where do you want to go? And I want to go here, and the car will just take you there. We have a lot of those systems out and about, especially in America, but you know, they are all dependent on their programming and their environment and presets and all of this sort of stuff. They are not 100% reliable. We've had lots of issues with those cars, as has been widely reported. Full autonomous ability requires artificial intelligence. It requires learning AI, and we're still some way away from the kind of AI that we would need, you know, basically kit, to be able to do that. However, we're getting closer. Like I said, I still think another 10 years. It may happen a bit sooner, but it's certainly not happening next year. But the fact the fact is that we do have all of these AI type systems in the car, and those are going to continue to evolve and increase. So we'll have more systems that help us do stuff. So help us park and help us watch out for other cars, that will brake for us, that will swerve for us. Those systems have already been around for 5 years. They will evolve and get better, and there'll be more and more of those. And the other thing that will happen, of course, is because of the connectivity and because of the monitoring, there's a lot more that they will know about where you're going, what you're doing in your car. What do I mean by they? I mean, of course, the manufacturers, but you thought I meant the government. And to be honest, it's a very short step from there to the government, you know, with black boxes and stuff. And most people are sort of saying, yeah, we'll have this because it reduces our insurance premiums. Like, yes, we'll have monitoring systems in our cars. So those are going to increase. You know, the cameras that you buy and you put in your cars, those are actually going to be built into cars. Some of them already have that now. So they're going to happen. So more and more of that is going to happen. The car is connected constantly, you know, to the internet. It's giving data, it's giving information, it's telling the world where you are, it's telling the world where you're going, it's telling the world how you're driving and how fast you're going. All of that is happening. That will continue to happen. Of course, the other part of that means that, you know, the fact is that they can charge you for stuff. And again, when I say they, you are inferring that I'm meaning the government, which of course they can, because ultimately I think that road tax as we have it here, or road pricing, is going to evolve into something that will be based on the miles that you do and where you do them. That's ultimately what's going to happen. Not, I don't think that will happen in 2023, but ultimately that's what will happen, because they will be able to do that. They'll be able to so easily monitor your car, and they will sell it to you on the basis of, oh, you know, if you don't drive that much, you'll pay less than you would normally do with a road tax. And we'll go, yay, let's do that. And then we'll find, oh damn, they're monitoring every single thing that we're doing, and they're pricing us on the basis of where we're going, when we're going, and why we're going, you know. So all of that is going to happen. Anyway, in addition to that, what's going to happen, what I alluded to earlier on in this video, optional extras. This has already happened in America. It was tried to introduce, BMW tried to introduce it a couple of years ago in Europe. They failed, but it's coming back. They're doing it again, and it's basically the optional extras in your car will not be available to you unless you pay a subscription. So like things like heated seats, you know, sensors or music systems and stuff like that. So these things they will be able to control these remotely, because they'll be able to remotely control your car. Worry about that, because they can actually switch your car off and stuff like that. Imagine how easy it would be to repossess cars. They just drive your car to the repossessed thing ultimately, but ultimately they could switch it off and get it to park on the side of the road. So but anyway, these optional extras we might be entering into an issue where you buy a car spec'd with things like heated seats, massage seats, whatever, but you can't use them until you pay a subscription fee to do it. So what's the answer? The answer is to do what I'm doing right now, is to drive a 33-year-old classic. Well, that is until Sadiq Khan introduces ULEZ, which is going to happen, or actually here's my prediction. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in London at the end of August next year, because there's no evidence, there's no justification for him to do this. There's a groundswell of growing support against the ULEZ expansion, including from MPs and from the government itself. So my prediction is that won't go ahead. So there you go. Those are my predictions for 2023. Let me know what your predictions are for 2023. Put them in the comments.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here, or right here on YouTube. Just hit these 3 little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.